I had a lot of fun making that magazine piece. Have fun with your photography. Keep learning.
Buenos Diaz and welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hey, I am stopped right now. I'm on a 2-mile run. I'm 1 mile out and I'm sitting in this beautiful park. It's really nice out today. And I just wanted to take a moment to let you guys know what today's video is about. Today's video is about a new photographer looking at that picture mode dial and making sense of all those letters, symbols, numbers. I don't even think there's numbers on there, but whatever the case, there might be numbers. It depends on your camera. Yeah. Let's take a surface look at the picture mode dial. Let's do it. First, I gotta get back on this run and back home. Let's go.
Hey guys, I am back from the run and I want to go over the dial modes or the exposure modes on a camera, on a DSLR. Many DSLRs are very similar. They have a lot of the same language. However, some of the dials are going to look a little different. So let's get right into it. I'm using a Canon 70D. You can follow along. It's going to be real quick, and it's definitely just to skim over what some of these dial modes mean. So let's get right into it. Let's take a look at the first one. The first one on my list, Canon calls Scene Intelligent Auto. All that means, it is fully automatic. That means you just point and shoot. And that's it. The camera does all of the thinking for you. It tries to figure out the ISO, the shutter speed, and the aperture. All on its own, it's doing the thing for you. So get in full auto, start shooting. If it thinks it needs a flash, it will go. All right, the next one here is essentially full auto with no flash. So you can disable the flash in this case. So this is flash off, same idea as full auto. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one's called Creative Auto on the Canon 70D. So this one gives you the benefits of full automatic. What's really cool is it actually allows you to adjust the blurriness or the depth of field, but it calls it blurriness. And it actually, once you go in the dial, it says, hey, less blurry or more blurry. So you can get that depth of field without necessarily understanding aperture and depth of field. All right, the next one on my list is the SCN or scene mode. This just basically allows you to select from specific scenes like, hey, it's cloudy outside. Hey, I have tungsten lighting. Hey, it's really sunny. So those are the kinds of things you can choose from, and they actually work pretty decently. It's allowing the camera to do some of the work for you, especially if you're just learning. So these are good to know. I did not know anything about these before today, meaning as a whole. I knew some of them, but this is good for me. This is really good. I'm learning, you're learning, we're learning together. Yeah! The next one I'm gonna go to is Custom User. It allows you to set specific shutter speeds and aperture for specific settings, and then you can use these as kind of your own automatic settings for a specific type of scene or area or type of photography that you're taking. So I have not used it. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. All right, on to the next one that I want to talk about is bulb mode. I am in love with bulb mode. Bulb mode, blah, 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 blah. Bulb mode is basically long exposure mode. It allows you to select how long you want the shutter to stay open. If you're trying to do light trails and you want to get reds and the whites, meaning the headlights and the taillights all the way through a scene, or coming at you and going away from you, that you want to use this mode. So utilizing bulb mode allows you to open up the shutter for as long as you want. So the next one is manual mode. So manual mode is just that. It is everything that you want it to be and anything you want it to be. You select the aperture, you select the shutter speed, you select the ISO. Manual mode just allows you to mess with every single dial, slider, selection, choice, whatever you want to do, it allows you to do it, and you go and have fun. And this is how you become, I think, a better photographer in my estimation. You just try new things. Your pictures aren't going to come out all the time. I have had some that are many, they're just so blown out and I can't figure out why. Keep a couple of the settings the same and you just start messing with the third one. And that, and those three, the triangular piece is aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. I'm learning so much about this that I wanted to share that with you. So My suggestion is to practice in manual mode. Once you've practiced with your camera and you've kind of gone through that automatic phase, that it'll allow you to be a better photographer. I know that it's helping me a lot. So, and I'm learning a lot. All right, on to the next one. Aperture priority, in this case, AV on this camera. Aperture priority allows you to select your aperture and the camera selects what it thinks the shutter speed and the ISO should be. But you can go in and change those. You do have the option to change those if you wish, but at least you're focused just on the aperture. And then very similarly, there is shutter priority. Allows you to change the shutter while the camera selects the ISO and the aperture. Again, you can change those. I think my two favorites right now are utilizing manual mode and aperture priority. However, it depends on when I'm doing long exposure. If it's long exposure, it's bulb mode all the way for me. I've captured some pretty cool shots that way, and that's the way I've been learning right now. And the last one here is programmed exposure. I have really never used this one at all, didn't even know what it was, but essentially the camera selects your aperture and your shutter speed. You have the ability to change a lot of these settings anyway. So if you're a beginning photographer and you just want to like point and shoot, I would select full auto, scene intelligent auto in this case on the Canon, and you can use flash off. And then you have the more custom functions where there's shutter priority, aperture priority, bulb mode, so on and so on. So that's it for the modes. I did shoot one image for each mode, and check this out real quick. Here's the first one in scene intelligent auto or full auto. And then the next one is flash off but full auto. And then the next one is creative auto. And then followed by scene. In this case, I believe I chose shade as the actual scene, so I could have chosen like outdoors or sunny or tungsten or fluorescent light, but I chose shade. I was actually indoors. There was no lights in the house, so this was shade. Then bulb mode, and I had to select the shutter speed. This is manual mode, again, fully selected by myself. Then this is aperture priority, where I selected the aperture. Yeah, so here's shutter priority, where it actually chose what I had for aperture priority as far as the aperture, set at 5. And then program auto exposure, that's my last shot. Now, my two favorites were the aperture priority and the shutter priority. And in fact, the shutter priority was actually my favorite shot right out of the camera. I just thought that the automatic shots with flash and without flash, those just didn't work for me. And I took one of them, the shutter speed priority, and I edited in Lightroom, and I went from this to this. And then I wanted to mess around a little bit more, and since it was one of our dining chairs, it has a nicely wood carved back, I decided to make this a magazine shoot and put this in a magazine. Here's what I did. Boom. All right, so not too shabby, I think. I think that could make a magazine cover. That's it. I hope you enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun making that magazine piece. Have fun with your photography. Keep learning. We're gonna do this again. Remember, always sprinkle a little bit of fun in your life. And before we leave, remember, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Give me a like if you enjoyed any piece of this, and comment down below and give me some ideas on what you use, what camera you use, and what kind of modes do you use. If you're just starting out, auto's great, no worries. But as you start practicing, just try different things. You'll thank yourself. You really will thank yourself if you just start trying. It's a little bit daunting at first, but if you do it step by step, piece by piece, and come back and see me and we could talk back and forth, I'd love to learn along with you because I'm on this learning journey with you. All right, remember to always keep it fun enough. Outro! Beep!